Imagine two climbers standing at the base of the same mountain. The first climber stares at the summit. It's impossibly far. Just looking at it exhausts him. He waits for the perfect morning. Clear skies, full energy, total motivation. He waits one day, then a week, then a season. The mountain never gets closer. It just gets more discouraging. The second climber never looks at the summit at all. He looks at the next rock, just one rock. He steps onto it. Then the next one, then the next. He doesn't feel inspired. He doesn't feel ready. He just keeps placing one foot in front of the other. A year later, the first climber is still standing at the base, waiting to feel ready. The second climber is standing at the top, and he never remembers deciding to climb. He just never stopped taking the next step. This is the secret the Japanese discovered about discipline. It was never about the mountain. It was about the next step. We live in a culture obsessed with the summit. New Year's resolutions, dream boards, transform your life in 30 days. Big goals loudly announced, fueled by a burst of excitement. And we wait for motivation to carry us up the mountain. But motivation is not a vehicle, it's weather. Some days it's there, most days it isn't. And when it's gone, we don't blame the weather, we blame ourselves. We call ourselves lazy, undisciplined, not built for this. But the problem was never us. The problem was that we were taught to climb by staring at the summit instead of learning to take the next step. In Japan, there is a word for the second climber's way of moving through the world: Kaizen. It means change for the better. First used in business in the 1950s, when Japanese manufacturing, rebuilding from the rubble of the Second World War, adopted it as a core philosophy. Not innovation, not disruption, improvement. Small, continuous, endless. It is not a productivity hack. It is not a 5-step morning routine. It is a different relationship with time itself, one where the next small step matters more than the distant goal. And it didn't just rebuild factories, it rebuilt a national identity. Here's the math nobody tells you about discipline. If you improve by just 1% every day, in 1 year you don't end up 365% better, you end up over 37 times better. Compounding. But here's the part that actually matters. Psychologically, your brain cannot resist 1%. Ask your brain to become 37 times better, and it panics. It sees an impossible task. It shuts down. This is the same mechanism behind procrastination. When a goal feels too big, the brain registers it as a threat, and threats trigger avoidance. But ask your brain for 1%, it says yes, every time, because 1% feels like nothing. That's the trick. That's the entire trick. Kaizen doesn't fight your brain's resistance, it slips underneath it. In the 1950s, on the factory floor of Toyota, workers were given a strange kind of power. Any worker, not just managers, not just engineers, could stop the entire production line if they noticed something that could be improved. A tool placed wrong, a part that took 2 extra seconds to reach, a motion that was slightly inefficient. This system was called Kaizen Teian, improvement through suggestion. Millions of these tiny suggestions were submitted year after year. Most of them sound almost laughably small. Move a shelf 6 inches, relabel a bin, shorten a cable by 2 feet. But by the 1980s, this same company had become one of the most efficient car manufacturers on Earth. Not because of one genius idea, but because of millions of 6-inch improvements stacked for 30 years. Nobody on that floor felt like a revolutionary. They just fixed the thing in front of them. Then the next thing, then the next. Outside the factory, this same pattern lives in Japanese traditional crafts. A swordsmith folds steel, the same motion, thousands of times for years before he's considered ready to make his first blade. A sushi apprentice may spend years just learning to cook rice properly, not the fish, not the knife work, just the rice. Every single day, the the same task, refined by a fraction. To an outsider, this looks like repetition, almost punishment. But the craftsman isn't repeating the same action. He's repeating a slightly improved version of it every day for years until the accumulation becomes mastery. This is Kaizen in its oldest form. Before it had a name, before factories, it lived in the hands of people who simply made the next thing slightly better than the last. Let's make this real with two people. Person A decides to get in shape. He commits to 90-minute gym sessions 5 days a week, starting Monday. Week 1, he goes 4 times. Incredible. Week 2, he's exhausted. He goes twice. Week 4, motivation is gone. He hasn't been in 9 days. He feels like a failure. He stops entirely. 1 year later, 0 change. In fact, he now avoids the gym altogether. It's become a symbol of failure. Person B decides to do 5 minutes of movement every day. That's it. Some days it's a walk, some days it's stretching. Occasionally it turns into a full workout, but that's never the requirement. Some days he really doesn't feel like it. He does it anyway because 5 minutes is almost nothing. 1 year later, 365 days of movement. His body has changed, but more importantly, something else has changed. He now sees himself as someone who shows up. Person A had more motivation, more ambition, and a far more impressive plan. Person B had less of everything except consistency. And consistency is the only one of those that compounds. Here's what Kaizen actually teaches, underneath the productivity advice. Discipline was never a personality trait some people are born with and others aren't. Discipline is a byproduct, the residue left behind after enough small actions repeated become identity. You don't become disciplined and then start showing up. You show up in small, almost insignificant ways, and discipline is what people call you afterward. The Japanese understood this not as a mindset hack, but as a way of relating to time. Every day is not a test you pass or fail. It's one more rock to step on. The mountain was never the point. The next step always was. So, here is your Kaizen challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one thing, something so small it feels almost embarrassing to commit to. 1 push-up, 1 sentence written, 1 page read, 1 minute of silence before checking your phone. Not a new you, not a transformation, just the next step. Every day for 7 days. At the end of the week, you won't have transformed your life, but you'll have proven something to yourself that motivation never could, that you're someone who shows up. So tell me, what is the one small thing you're going to commit to for the next 7 days? Write it in the comments. Make it embarrassingly small. That's the whole point.